Welcome to Simply Bitcoin, the channel that breaks down all the daily Bitcoin news from Twitter, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, and sometimes the websites by plebes. We've got it all. Drop us a like and subscribe. We're going to the numbers. Here we go. Block Moody Dashboard. Currently sitting at a block height of 162,551. The current Bitcoin price, 23,755. Chain rewrite days, 620, and the total lightning capacity, 1,060.48 BTC right now.
Oh, I think that's an all-time high. I'm not sure. Is it?
No.
It's like touching it.
No, we were at 24K 2 days ago.
Dude,
yeah, we're like over 24K. We were at like 24 one something. I'm not even sure.
I'm so lost with everything, bro. It's just
That's
so
okay.
much good news is hitting me at the same time.
But
crazy. I know, right? It's crazy, and it's just in preparation for the new year. It's time for
the daily fail. If you are holding Bitcoin, at least sell enough to recoup your initial investment. That way you won't be living out of a van down by the river next year. For some reason, I feel like instead of next year, it should say next to me. But I don't get some of these people who have been writing about this for so long. Like, have you really done zero research? And you honestly think that this kind of narrative just continues to be worthwhile? It's just so sad. Anyways, yeah.
I feel like if you went back 20 years ago, these would be the same people talking crap about email and the internet. You know?
Oh yeah, no.
She's a dinosaur. She's just being, she's just falling into irrelevancy, I guess.
You know, the Xerox board of directors came to the conclusion back in I think it was in the 70s, that no serious work would ever be done on a computer. And they laughed it off. So.
And Steve Jobs stole it ripped it right from their hands. We're telling you a true story, by the way. So crazy. The experts, they're not always right.
No.
What does that remind you of?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So, Phil, it's time for
the daily meme review.
All right, everybody. Brecky.
Nice.
Legend. Man, I'm going to read his tweet. If you don't want my satire video to come true, please take a moment to use the form in the below tweet to send an email to Steve Munchin about the proposed FinCEN regulations, right? We've covered this heavily for the last 2 days, and at least there's some humor. Let's check it out, guys.
As Congressman Warren Davidson and Ted Budd and Senator Cynthia Lummis are well aware, Bitcoin is the greatest extension of natural rights since the Bill of Rights. As such, the Treasury Department will move to assume the position of omnipotent ruler who decides what you can and cannot do as an individual. In our eyes, your natural rights don't exist. You are too dangerous to yourself to make decisions for yourself. The state must tell you what you can and cannot do. This is so far off base from the principles this country was founded on that I find it hard to look in the mirror with a straight face and tell myself that we live in a free country. But then I remind myself about how much I have benefited from the Cantillon effect. I am going to handcuff the greatest, most liberating innovation the world has seen since the onset of the internet because I do not understand what I am attempting to regulate. Utterly disgusting as it is, Americans are about to be deprived of their opportunity to exercise their God-given right to protect their private property. Thank you.
I'm going to give that a 10. What about you?
Wow. All right. I'm going with 9.5. Still amazing, right?
Yeah, dude, that was an amazing meme. And I know what some of you guys are thinking, like, oh, that wasn't as funny as this. Dude, we're in a war right now. And the best ammunition we have are memes, right? And because this had to do with exactly what we were discussing a couple days ago, this meme called into action people with humor, right? It's the easiest thing to do. You send this to someone, they start asking questions like, what is he talking about? What is he, whatever? And this gets people involved online, right? So that meme is perfect, man. It informs people about a current event and about this Steve Chicken guy, right? So what are your thoughts on this, Phil?
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't give it a perfect 10 only because for me the perfect 10 is reserved for the Matrix memes. But no, like, look, for me that's pretty close to it. So the only, I mean, look, like the only thing I would say. So actually, even before I go there, that's Brecky doing the voice. So that's pretty amazing. He's really good at impressions. Anyways, so I really appreciated that. The only reason I didn't give it like perfection on it was because some of the dialogue that he used is like the type of stuff that's really relevant that we know. Like the average person has no idea what the Cantillon effect is. So for real, like, I mean, I'm sure some people do, but you know, the average person won't. So, but still, I mean, that's still an amazing meme.
Yeah, it was definitely great, and man, crazy. All right, Phil, it's time for
the Daily News, sponsored by
Crypto Cloaks. All right, so guys, I'm gonna start this off, not giving you any context at all, but I'm gonna let it develop. I'm gonna let it simmer. All right. So let me take you on a story, everybody. All right, so this is a tweet by Brad Garlinghouse. I appreciate you saying that this could mean for the larger U.S. crypto industry. The SEC is doing the opposite of fostering innovation here in the U.S. It's not just XRP they're attacking here. All right, we got to flip. Let's flip the page on the story. Okay, this is a tweet by Tone Vase on a very suspicious tweet above it. And let's check it out. And he says, in case anyone was wondering why XRP is not Bitcoin, let's read this part. Ripple Labs hopes to make money from XRP if the world finds the Ripple network useful and broadly adopts the protocol. Ripple Labs plans to gift 55 billion XRP to charitable organizations, users, and strategic partners. Ooh, buzzword. In the ecosystem over time. The company will retain a portion in order to monetize its only asset sometime in the future, right? Remember that when you're seeing this, and especially remember that when you end up right here. The SEC charges Ripple and two executives, which is one of them is being Brad Garlinghouse, right? And basically, you know, told them it was an unregulated securities sale, right? Yep. And man, this is a lot of the legalese, right? But obviously you can tell that they've been working on this for a while. This has been a rumor that has, you know, has been present, I guess, in the community, in the Bitcoin space for so long. We were kind of asking ourselves, why the hell not was the SEC? Why is the SEC not investigating Ripple whatsoever? Ripple owns the majority of the supply of XRP. They've openly admitted in articles, right, that they do sell some of that to fund operations, right? So what is that but not a securities sale, right? And I'm gonna put the definition of what a security is, right? But you know, dude, they got caught red-handed, you know, this guy, you know, this guy's in trouble, and XRP, the XRP army out there, like, you guys are effed, because now all of a sudden everybody that holds XRP is going to have to be registered. Like, you're going to see the debacle that this is going to unravel, right? This is just the beginning, right? Oh, yeah. And well, you know, I hate to say this, but we told you so. Anyways, Phil, those are my thoughts. What about you?
Well, it's just not Bitcoin, you know, like, and this is, you know, it just isn't. Sorry, you know, so this is exactly what happens. You know, this is one of the many cases. There's going to be others, right? Like, unfortunately, they put it in writing that they intend on selling this, and not only that, but providing it to strategic partners so that they can then sell it. I mean, like, yeah, like when you're that busted, I mean, it's just, yeah, you know, rip XRP. I mean, they were dead before this anyways. It was, to me, just a totally troll, fake shill army. But now at this point, you know, it's just completely sad. I don't understand why somebody would think that a company is going to be essentially the ruler of we'll call it free digital money going forward. It's just not going to happen. We've already seen what centralized planning does. We're already feeling the effects of what those issues are. Why would you do that? These people, you know what? Hodlnaut Space Cat said it best. It's like watching a train wreck, and these people, like, they just don't know it. They act like they don't know they're in the train wreck.
Absolutely.
Anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah. And man, I just kind of want to touch upon this idea that, they openly admitted many times that they're selling some of their, XRP to other people. Like, that's something that Bitcoin will have and nobody will ever have, because everybody that is trying to create a cryptocurrency that's going to copy Bitcoin in the future is creating it with the idea in the back of their minds that this will be be worth something one day, therefore I can sell it. Bitcoin was created as a reaction to this atrocity that was the 2009 financial crisis, but nobody knew that it was going to have value, or would it work in the beginning, right? So it had this virgin birth that just became, and the founder hasn't touched any of his so-called Bitcoin. No one knows who he is, right? So it's like, if the SEC subpoenas Bitcoin, who are they going to subpoena? There's no one to kill, right? There's no head to chop off, right? So, oh yeah, and yeah, fuck Brad and fuck XRP for scamming so many people into believing nonsense.
There's a head to chop, so it's going.
It's going. And guys, to end the news for today, look, guys, there's way too much to keep up with at this point in terms of how much institutional money is going to the space, right? So I just wanted to kind of end, tonight's show with, Anthony Scaramucci's 9.3 billion fund registers for Bitcoin investment. This is another one. Okay. There's been plenty other. MicroStrategy announced their total, their total acquisition of Bitcoin. It's at 1 billion in total Bitcoin purchases in 2020. This is absolutely crazy. They currently hold 70,470 Bitcoin. That is a lot of Bitcoin, right? And the reason I want to cover those two articles, Phil, is at this point, to say that institutions are not involved this epoch, you couldn't say that. You'd be lying.
Oh no.
Right? Like, this is totally different. Wall Street is now a player, right? So that's crazy. What do you think?
We got the mooch. I mean, that's there we go. We got him. So anyways, look, the reality is that we knew that the institutions were coming. Everybody that was actually realistic with themselves in 2017 understood that the on-ramps weren't necessarily ready yet. And now we're at a very different stage. We're in a different place, right? Bitcoin 20K in 2017 was euphoria. Bitcoin 20K in 2019 is simply just confirmation of ecosystem growth and resilience. It's a very different story at the numbers, and it's a very different story in the ecosystem itself. So this doesn't surprise me. And actually, I saw a tweet today by, I don't even remember who, that mentioned that you're only hearing about Bitcoin on Twitter, and that institutions aren't really taking this seriously. When institutions start holding Bitcoin instead of the readily available options that they have right now that have quote unquote worked for, how many years? Hundreds of years, right? Anyways, it's at least 100 years. That tells you something. That tells you that Bitcoin is obviously offering something that the others don't. So to put your head in the sand and decide that, we'll get to Bitcoin later, like, hey, you know what? That's a risk that you take not holding Bitcoin. That's what it is. It's when you're sitting in cash, you're no longer, you're no longer risk off. It's when, you know what I mean? Like, that's risk on. You want to be sitting in Bitcoin. Anyways.
I absolutely agree.
Go Bulls.
I completely agree, Phil. And at that, there was a software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. All right, we've got. Okay, it looks like. Oh wow, this is a pretty big announcement. So Coldcard joins Unchained Capital's Caravan and adds PSBT support. That's partially signed Bitcoin transaction. I'm not going to get into the definition, but the link to that update will be in the release notes down below in the show notes.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. Yeah, that is a huge update. Shout out to them because I know they've been trying to do that for a while. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Simply Bitcoin. If you like the show, you know what to do. If you love the show, subscribe and hit the little notification bell. See you guys tomorrow.
Peace.